Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Awards Watch podcast. I am your host, Erik Anderson, editor in chief of Awards Watch. It is Oscar shortlist morning. We have so much to talk about. So many things happened today. And joining me, as always, in this editors only podcast is executive editor Ryan McQuade.
Morning. It's kind of like an afternoon thing.
It's okay. It's like
It's
sort of
noon for
afternoon
you.
now,
It's
but
noon for you. It's afternoon
it
for us. Come on.
all blends together. There's
Sure.
morning and then there's cocktail hour. Everything in between, I don't really know.
Cocktail hours is at 11 a.m. for you. What are you talking about?
Hey, I have mad lunches all the time. It
I know.
explains a lot, but
Hey,
yes.
yes, it does. Hi, everyone.
Yes, and then also associate editor Sophia Ciminello.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so Oscar shortlists. We were all anticipating these. A lot of them came in pretty much as expected. I think especially like international feature film, not really a lot of surprises, especially as we got closer to the list this morning. But definitely some big surprises in what did show up and what didn't, as is going to be the case with any of these nomination shortlists or anything that we cover here. But I think I want to start right off the bat with maybe what is going to be a big topic of conversation, and that was the showing for Surat, which was the Cannes Grand Prize winner. And I think many of us would have expected it to show up in sound and score. It was going there. It was going there for international feature film as well. But it got 5 nominations. It showed up in casting.
Well, 5 placements, not nominations.
Not nominated, yes, five mentions.
Placements.
Casting and cinematography. Nobody really saw that coming, especially when you see what didn't make the cut for those two categories. So I want to throw to you first, Sophia, and what you think about these Surat mentions, and does it portend?
Yeah, so I almost started the episode with my intro being Blow It Up as a reference to Surat because I think that is some unintentional, amazing comedy in that film. But yeah, I mean, I think that we have seen a lot of support for this movie with critics groups so far that is maybe surprising and unsurprising. I think it depends on the group and where the mentions really are. But for me, seeing it in casting and cinematography shows that this is an international feature that does actually have a lot of support, especially because something like It Was Just an Accident did not show up in categories like that, which is, a very strong contender, I think, in above the line places. But also when you think of, like you said, Erik, what missed, Jay Kelly not making casting and cinematography, that I think is a huge red flag for that movie's possible performance. And I think we almost have to look at the misses just as seriously as we look at what's making it in here. And something like Surat, while I don't think it's going to get cinematography or casting nominations on nomination morning, I think it just shows overall support. And I think we can expect to see it really where it's strongest. So we can maybe see it in international feature, and then it could get that sound nomination too. I think that's very possible.
I do too, Ryan. I want to go to you next and continue on the casting and cinematography because those are
Yeah.
brand new this year. Casting in its first year ever, cinematography
Yeah.
returning to the short list after 46 years. So let's focus a little bit on those two and what are your thoughts on their Saradathon?
Well, you always have to take things with a little bit of like a grain of salt because just because something shows up across the board here does not mean that it might even translate at all to a nomination, because these branches do not vote in other categories. Now, the wide academy is going to see that, and then of course they go to their bake-offs. I think that this does, though, ultimately signal that this is a strong contender to make the international five. Now that is then the question of, is the Neon Five a real thing, or is this a vulnerable spot for one of those films? And I actually think that the film, even though it didn't do well, like you said today, it was just an accident. I think it's going to do really well above the line. The film that seems to be very vulnerable today is No Other Choice. And that signals the fact that once again, our beloved Park Chan Wook might be on the cutting floor in international feature, or might be the lone screenplay nominee that we're all trying to find amongst things. The other thing I think about that with Sarat. And maybe it gets into sound because the sound of that movie is literally the damn movie. But I don't think it's going to get, the casting nomination. That's a wild one. But to transition over to casting, not just Jay Kelly missing, huge ensemble missing as well was Wake Up Dead Man. So the Netflix films, in Train Dreams even as well there too, kind of just crashed and burned outside of Frankenstein. I see the trend here of potentially the right way this category is supposed to look, which is of discoveries, of cast made up of actors that are not generally just big actors. Casting changes. Like the thing about Frankenstein as to why I think it's in here is because of the allure changed from Andrew Garfield, the weapons cast being entirely changed because from Austin Abrams because of the strike. I think that's very inspired. Then, of course, Sarat has a lot of discovery. Sinners has discovery. Sentimental Value, Secret Agent, Marty Supreme has discoveries. Hamnet and One Battle. The only one that seems ensemble-y out of all of this is Wicked for Good. And yet, I guess there are, just a lot of love for that casting and still strong placements throughout for it in below the line categories. Not surprising for that movie. But that category is looking actually how it's supposed to look. And I was really happy, even though, yes, there are some massive ensembles, and it's not to discredit those casting directors' work. It's just that this is a much more exciting group of 10 and hopeful as to the potential of that group understanding that group's going to know exactly how to make this lineup what it is. It's the vote at the end is what is going to be probably the frustrating thing, because it could just end up being an Oscar to whatever film is potentially winning Best Picture. Like this could be easily a One Battle play. That was the other thing too. Sinners had such a great morning. Wicked had a great morning. They both tied for I think 8 this morning, 8 or but One Battle After Another did not miss a single step with them this morning, including getting into sound, including getting into makeup. That, I've been seeing a lot of people are like, oh, Sinners is going to be the one that sort of just comes over the top. But with all those acting nominations, with these mentions here in these categories, I still am tracking One Battle After Another to be if not tied, being the leader come Oscar morning for nominations. And its vice grip on the season so far has been announced all the way into these shortlists, and these are the 2 films that stand out the most, in my opinion, but particularly One Battle After Another.
Well, of course. I mean, there was no way that you were not going to sneak that into the conversation, even though it was not at all what we were talking about.
I mean, it is the one. It is the one makeup. I mean, if we're going to talk about it, the fact that it got into makeup and weapons,
but we weren't talking about that yet. We weren't talking about that. Were we?
You were just ready to go.
I was just ready to go. Rise and shine, bitches.
It brings up an interesting point, though, that you started to talk about, Ryan, which is that with these shortlists, every year there are a few contenders that just really benefit from the categories that are chosen for shortlists and what we have shortlists of. So, like, I remember when No Time to Die had a really good day at the shortlist, and then that didn't pan out when it came to nominations. So I think when you're looking at these lists, like, be careful, because that could happen to some films. We never really know if they're going to end up making the final 5 despite having a really good showing. And there are some other films here that, I think, like, you can pretty much, aside from Sinners, Wicked for Good, and One Battle After Another, you can really pull any film here and say, well, how did it miss that?
That's it.
Maybe not Frankenstein.
Frankenstein
had a wonderful morning.
That had a good day. But there are a couple
it
where
got
I
everything
thought,
it really could.
Can I say
why did that miss?
Like,
Yeah,
but
there's
also
several of those, but no,
Hmm.
I'm
I was
going
going to
to
ask about
try and
cinematography. No, I
no.
was going to say something about
We're gonna, but I want
okay.
to we'll get to that in a minute, but I want
Yeah.
to look at casting again. I want to
Yes, yes,
really
yes,
look
yes.
at it
It's
because
big.
something that we were talking about all season is the likelihood of double nominations from casting directors. That's not going to happen
That's great.
because
That's
Nina
great too.
Gold got in for Hamnet, but not for Jay Kelly.
Yeah.
Jennifer Venditti got in for Marty Supreme, but not for Begonia.
Yes.
Avi Kaufman, same. Or Douglas Abel. This was one of the big surprises this morning is how that shook out, and definitely Surratt and the secret agent kind of turned that upside down a little bit. And like you mentioned, Sophia J. Kelly having truly a horrible morning, only getting into score, which I don't know, now seems pretty unlikely for that to
I
even
mean,
happen.
Jay Kelly more
Uh,
like Jay Smelly,
just
you know.
wow, that just happened.
It's the truth.
Yes, yeah. So that's something that I found the most illuminating this morning from the casting shortlist was that no one is going to be a double nominee this year.
That's great,
And
honestly.
obviously something like Wicked was going to get in here because it is the first year, because it would have last year. So that would have been kind of fascinating to see if it could have gotten into both, or even how the eligibility of something of a sequel like this would even factor in.
Hmm.
Okay, let's go over to cinematography. Ryan, what did you have on that?
Well, this is our like first year we've gotten this one right, or as well.
46 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so
since the
and
All
70s.
that jazz.
and so
1979.
it was like a range between 15 and 20 is what we were going to get, right? It wasn't going to, they hadn't had a set amount. We got 16 films in here.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some films where you're just like, nope, that's not happening, like Song Sung Blue and Alice
I
Brooks,
cannot with that
and
mention here.
Ballad of a Small Player. And
Good
so it was very
choice.
interesting that like Nouvelle Vague, Ballad of a Small Player, Train Dreams, Frankenstein. Once again, where are you, Jay Kelly? Where art thou? Um, but not surprising too much here. I mean, obviously the Seurat of it all, but Sound of Falling, right there,
Yeah,
So
mentioned,
deserved.
so
love to see
deserving,
it.
beautiful, beautiful film. Obviously the contenders of Sinners, One Battle, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, Hamnet. Not surprising either, but just
Mm-hmm.
a weird eclectic bunch. Also cool to see Die My Love in there. And this is where I wanted to talk because this is the start of the categories, and we can have this broad conversation now, or I think we should, where I started to go, oh, so the Testament of Ann Lee is going to blank at every spot below the line. And it starts to wonder if Amanda Seyfried is going to be a lone nominee, or how I'm starting to feel like she's just possibly not going to get in. And that movie is just going to go nowhere this season. And that then also makes you start thinking about like, Searchlight is about to have a very, very, very low total in general, because Rental Family's like, not that I would consider it to be on this list, but hell, Song Sung Blue is. Like it's not really anywhere on these short lists. Neither is this thing on. So those movies, that whole studio, just a tough season for them. Really is.
Definitely, and certainly a studio that's pretty used to doing very, very well here.
Pretty well dominating with at least one film. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they were here last year with what a Complete Unknown,
Hmm.
and this is where this the Complete Unknown started showing a sign of strength for itself, before it did break into a lot of those tech categories, and then ultimately getting like, what was it, like 68 nominations or something like that. So it's going to most likely be the studio that walks away with a couple of goose eggs, if not every single film is going to have a goose egg for itself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some more surprise inclusions before we get to some big
Yeah,
misses?
Sophia, was
Because
there
Yeah,
some?
we can do that. I think that with cinematography in particular, I was really excited to see Die My Love
Yeah.
and Sound of Falling here. I think two really cool, different inclusions. We wondered what this list would look like. It just being the first time we've covered the Oscars where we've had a cinematography shortlist. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything here. I think you can point to something like Jay Kelly being a big miss, but I was looking back at what made, I think Will Mavity tweeted it about what made that short list in the
Hmm.
70s. And there were so many films that didn't make it, like Manhattan and Picnic at Hanging Rock. We don't have
Midnight
anything
Express.
missing, right? We don't have anything missing from this list that stops me in my tracks and is like, what's going on? Aside really from across the board, The Testament of Anne Lee.
Yep.
And Bennett Prosser made a great point on my show, Oscar Wilde, last week when we talked about just a check in on the state of the race. He said, with the late pickup of that movie, there is some confusion possibly around like, was it coming out? That was, I think, the conversation that was really in the air around it. And it just got kicked off too late. And in the past, when films have a late start, they really have to have, I think, some gravitas behind them. Like at Venice, they win an award or they do really well at TIFF. And this film just didn't really have that. So then it breaking late, I think I was really hoping for it to show up here, but I just keep hoping for it to show up everywhere. And it's just not. Like the Costume Designers Guild miss. That you can blame, I think, on the timeline. But then you look at something like this and it's nowhere. We have a couple of other films, Song Sung Blue, Marty Supreme, that have late releases, and they're here.
It's yeah, and all of these are voted on by the branch, and they can definitely have their favorites.
Hmm.
Obviously, Diane Warren is here in song, but the film is in score as well.
I'm
There
going.
Yeah.
are
I'm
there
gonna
are
say it.
favorites here.
I'm gonna say it now. She could be a double nominee this year easily because her damn name is on the title of that movie. It could
It's
happen.
Can you
yeah,
imagine?
it
I
could
can imagine. I can
it can
imagine. Oh,
work. It can work either way for her,
Eric,
I
honestly.
think so.
Eric, cover your ears when I say that right now, my score, what I have in my five for score is Sinners One Battle, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Hamnet. I could see a world because of the whole um, ending of Hamnet and how controversial that is, the branch kicking it out. And Diane Warren takes the spot of Hamnet. I could see a world where that happens. I could see also Marty Supreme not getting in
Yeah.
because of its like,
Because there are
uh,
so many songs.
yeah, there's that, and I just think that like it's such it's such an out there score. It's so
Like
different.
challengers.
It's just yeah, it's like it's the
Uh-huh.
cool pick, and they kick the cool pick out. But I see Frankenstein, I see Sinners, and I see obviously One Battle. Those are kind of starting to feel like locks right there. But I see her creeping right there. I'm not blind to it. I am not
I
blind to
mean,
it at
I
all.
think
if
Zimmer's creeping too, if we think
Yeah,
about the
F1.
composers,
Yeah,
if
the music
if
branch.
if
yeah.
I thought that Hamnet was in fifth and vulnerable, it would not be to Diane Warren. Sorry, I just don't think that would be the case.
I don't know.
It would
I think
be
Judge
Train
Write Your Own.
Dreams
Oh, Train Dreams is there too. Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
Hedda or even Jay Kelly.
Hedda.
Um,
Hedda's not happening in a million
as
years.
long as it's not uh
House of
House
Dynamite.
of Dynamite, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Either House
Wow.
of Dynamite or Begonia. No,
Yeah.
can't have
I'm just glad Ballad of a Small Player is not here.
I was
that.
just gonna say
I
at
mean,
least
like,
Bergelman only got one in here.
thank God.
But
But
but again, I mean, look,
Surratt would be the cool pick also too. Like if that did
Hmm.
sneak in somewhere, that's
I think
one.
it's
But I did.
very possible. I
That's very
really think
possible.
that Surratt is a big spoiler
Yeah.
kind of everywhere. But when I look at this and at any of the short lists, even looking at what happened with No Time to Die, these are obviously individual branches that are supporting these films, but it does also build the story for Best Picture nominations. And while everybody is kind of focused on the neon films that we know or think are getting in, like you mentioned earlier, No Other Choice is now starting to feel like it's a bit of a non-factor, and Surratt is clearly a favorite
Hmm.
over that. So what if Surratt is a Best Picture nominee?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say when I do my next predictions, it's going to be much, much higher.
Yeah.
I think that you would then have to, for that to happen, it need to hit either screenplay or picture. I mean, screenplay or director in your predictions for you to predict that. It had to be, it would have to jump over the other three, which I think the other three are still much stronger films. Like, I think, no, I think, it was just an accident, sentimental value, and The Secret Agent are much stronger films than Surat, even
Yeah, they
after
are, but
today. Yeah.
they're all going to get nominated in international feature
Mm-hmm. Four
easily,
films in
and
Best Picture
and
International.
those other films we already know are definitely going to be getting into other categories. Accident will be in director and screenplay pretty easily. Sentimental Value could have
Across the
four
board.
acting nominations.
Yeah,
I think it's getting maybe three, but I think
probably
but
three, if
four is
not
Mm-hmm.
four.
possible.
Yeah,
Secret Agent Mora should be a pretty easy
he's gonna get in.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So and I don't know, something's
four
cooking.
films in Best Picture from the same studio seems absolutely insane and impossible, and it's I don't see that happening. Three feels like a stretch at this
Yeah.
point.
I
So
I think you also do on the other side of the coin with Syrah, you have to consider putting Wicked back in if you took it out, just based on how well that did today with
yeah,
the
that did
shortlists.
much better. Than
So I think that's the other piece of it is like I think to include Syrah in your picture 10 alongside The Secret Agent and those other international films, then you would have to take out Wicked. And I think today showed it's one of two things, right? The industry really likes it and it's going to be in there based on its below the line strength that we're seeing here, or maybe it's a red herring. We'll see. But I wanted to ask you guys actually about the sound list and how that can
oh,
play into editing because I'm actually starting to wonder if Frankenstein can get an editing nomination actually, just due to its strength. We have some films every year that just kind of pop up and you feel like in editing it's because of the strength of the picture contender. But I also bring that up because here in sound, we have a few that are missing that I would have like Marty Supreme, I think missing here
it's
is
big.
interesting because that editing I think it's a really strong contender in editing. So it not being here in sound is odd, especially with how music is used and how the sound really functions. Hamnet, I think, was a long shot for sound, but Johnny Byrne doing the sound in that movie, I expected maybe some branch love or a surprise mention here. That's not here. So then I think when we see that sound and editing crossover, which is never really 5 for 5, typically not. We do have some films that get into editing but that don't appear on the sound shortlist or get that sound mention. But it's making me think about the category a little bit differently because One Battle and Sinners, those are obviously here. Those are really strong. But I had Marty Supreme in third in editing, like on my list now.
I wouldn't put.
So I expected it to be here.
I had
So
it in
F
there at
F1
third
is
as well.
that film.
Yeah.
F1
Yeah,
is that film because I think it's going to get into editing sound,
Hmm.
uh, maybe cinematography, visual effects. It has an enormous potential to be actually the number 10 spot in Best
it does.
Picture.
It also just has a potential to just be like a Blade Runner 2049 situation
Sure,
where it's just in the tech categories, and
absolutely.
because it's from people that they love. And that's the other
Right.
thing is, all those cool picks, like you mentioned because he won for Zone of Interest, or we were talking about Ann Lee and the winner of Score last year missing the short list that had like everybody and their mom on it is insane. So yeah, so they really went some wild routes, and winners be damned. And so I think that, though, you're not wrong, Sophia. I mean, I've been saying this for kind of weeks that Frankenstein's just kind of like creeping along up the ranks, and I think it's you either have to have it in third or fourth place for picture at this point, not for because of just the strength it's
I
going to.
don't know about that.
It's going to have more nominations right now than Hamnet. It's going to have more than Sentimental Value, more than It Was Just an Accident. It could be the third most nominated film on the morning, easily. And because it's going to dominate in these text categories, I think it's gonna have Jacob Elordi. I think screenplay is not out of the question in adapted screenplay. Since like no other choice is very vulnerable. They love this. And I think that Del Toro's gonna break in the five. So at that point, you're talking about 10 to 11 nominations and editing. I mean, it is very structured as like this big two-part between Victor and the monster's story, and you're going back and forth a lot. It's very showy, so I wouldn't be surprised if it got in. But F1 is another film that I have it editing right now too. That I mean, that sports movie is it's just so well edited and so well paced. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean
and then
that goes to
that goes to the sound.
Sophia's
Yeah,
comment
but
about the sound and editing being very closely tied together.
I have like four that kind of match right now, just because I
I
don't
think
know.
I think something
Mhm.
that was a very big surprise miss here was Warfare, which
Yeah,
seemed like it should have been a pretty easy get
did Civil War get
as
in
a
there last year?
sound. Yeah, it did.
But it didn't get the nom. It just got on the list.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean, that's there's a lot of guns. There's a lot of guns in Warfare, and they
lot,
love their guns.
lot of
So,
guns.
you know,
Yeah, no, for
yeah, so that
sure.
was, I mean, because we have Springsteen here, which
That's not
I'm,
surprising.
yeah, it's not surprising because the music is live and
Yeah,
Well, and how they talk about the recording and
yeah,
the different instruments they use to capture that sound.
absolutely.
That's a compelling story.
Oh, they nerded out with this one.
see, the
Yeah.
one I think that's like in my fit spot. So I have One Battle Sinners, Frankenstein, F1, and I have Avatar, just because I think that like I know that the reviews are, but like this category in visual effects is where it just feels like that's where it's gonna go. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna win. I just think that those are like defaults in the category for that. But then you can't discount Wicked for Good, and you can't discount I think Springsteen as well too. But Mission Impossible making this category, but not visual effects, very very
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Hmm.
Very interesting. When the last one made it in for
Yeah.
visual effects and was the
Yeah.
first time that the film series had been nominated for an Oscar. So just very, very, it just shows that like
Yeah.
you can't just keep saying, "Oh, Tom's on an airplane and doing this." It's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it also has to
But
be good.
they made room for the Electric State and the Lost Bus.
Yes, they
Yeah, I
So
was
did.
just gonna ask you how you felt about the Lost Bus being
so
there.
Yeah,
obviously this
he's
Lost
playing the long
Bus
game.
mention is clearly its path to Best Picture. So I don't know how you can miss that
How you been
from
navigating that
this
on
morning.
your map
In
all year
fact,
long?
it was going to be the headline of the piece. Uh, yeah, but
What do we think are the five in this category of visual effects at the moment? I mean, obviously
you
Avatar,
mean
right?
Avatar and four other films?
Yeah, well, Avatar. I have Avatar, Frankenstein, Sinners, and then that's where it can get, I think, kind of tricky. I think Jurassic World's in,
I do too.
and then that's where I
Probably,
have,
even though
and
those movies don't do that well.
they get mostly in. Like I think they've mostly gotten in
Didn't the
for,
Kobolds do Wicked for or Jurassic?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, I would never discount either of them.
And
So
then
yeah,
and then I think it's like either Superman or F1, and it kind of seems like F1. So that's kind of where I'm at with that
that's
category.
why these bake-offs for some of these categories are really, really fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because and they do change kind of year to year of what they show and how much they can show and what type of presentation it is. Because if you have, a really, really good before and after for a film that maybe didn't seem like a major contender, that's all it takes is that to
Yeah.
happen. And then you on the flip side, you'll have something like Christopher Nolan films, which really, really are about practical effects. And I think it was Dunkirk that Bake Off was a disaster because the whole presentation was look at how many non-special effects we have in this Bake Off. And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't really the assignment, but
Yeah,
There
but
you
then
are.
the next one he won with Tenet, and then Oppenheimer. They
Nope.
basically were like,
And
Exactly.
they'll
"Fuck
win
all this.
next
We didn't
year.
do any of that shit." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like he just destroyed the whole community of voters when he was like, "There's no VFX whatsoever." You know?
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of bake-offs, should we talk about makeup and
Oh
hairstyling
my
and what
God.
happened
Okay,
Yes,
there?
because I don't understand what
okay,
happened
okay.
here
I'm
and
ready to talk about
how
this.
weapons missed.
Also, Hamnet.
Um,
Hmm.
If you're gonna get into it,
Yeah.
well, I don't, I wouldn't, I didn't have,
people did have it considered on a short list. I'm not saying in a
mm,
5,
I
but
mean,
it is a miss.
the makeup on Paul at the end,
Yeah,
yeah, when
he
we get
looks.
to the
there's
end.
plague makeup,
Yeah, it's how
Yeah.
she looks in the woods. Into the woods.
but
There's all this stuff.
weapons is that's the big miss though. And they
Yeah.
do sometimes, they do turn their noses up at horror
They
sometimes here.
do.
I think that that's to be expected,
They do and they
unfortunately. And
don't.
yet, when there's a big performance there, you would think that would come along. Look at the
Last year.
substance
Yeah.
last year.
Hmm.
Or look
Yeah.
at the ugly stepsister in this category
Which
that
is a
is represented
wonderful
in
and
here.
inspired
It's a great
nomination. I would,
Hmm.
nomination.
or
Yeah.
mention, I would never take it away from that film because it's great. But then, Marty Supreme making it in for Timmy's pockmarks, it's a choice, sure.
It's a big fucking choice. That's what that is.
It's a choice. Nuremberg, I
I
did
totally get
not
it.
realize there was a lot to makeup there.
Sophia, I talked to you about this.
Yeah, you
This,
did.
I know some people. This was not surprising to me that it made this, and it will not be surprising when I think it gets nominated. I think it will get in there. The Guild loves this movie,
Is
just like
this like Golda?
this is the gold of this year. Just be ready for it. This is the gold of this year. I'm not also surprised Smashing Machine made that in there. Kazu is beloved in there, and he will
Yeah,
totally
no,
get
that
nominated.
was always going to make it in.
Um, the one that I think is honestly the most egregious is the Alto Knights. Like, what in the hell are we? Like, you can have your Nuremberg and you can have your Smashing Machine, but what the fuck is that doing here? Like, it's so egregiously bad. And one, that movie's terrible, but it's like a
Yes,
TNT
but I mean,
movie.
if
But
there is a single category where the branch does not give a shit about reviews or the movie, this is it.
yeah, but I do know that from some members talking, their love for One Battle was stemmed around the Sean Penn character and particularly the ending. And there
Hmm.
was just a massive conversation about how they were able to pull that off. And so that breaking in here, it was on the bubble because it was like, are we just going to award one thing or are we going to mention one thing? But clearly that one thing was enough because they like the movie on the whole, you
This
know?
I've had this in my makeup and hairstyling prediction since I saw the movie because at that point I thought Penn was winning and
Yeah.
who this at this point I'm a little shakier on that. But
Yeah.
there's a reveal to that makeup look that I think works very well in the movie too, and a couple of ways that he's captured. And I think anytime a makeup look like that has prosthetics or is transforming a character is tied to an actor who is very strong in their acting category, you have to keep it in mind.
You want to explain how that works for us, Colonel Lockjaw? You know?
The
I
line I
also
was about to say is not podcast
no, it's
appropriate,
not
so
podcast. No,
No.
but also too, that goes the same for Jack O'Connell's character and the whole makeup design that they've done for Sinners and how they have sort of showcased already in the FYC material for the ending of that film and specifically how they built that. But I mean,
hmm.
this category is Frankenstein and its four friends. Like, this is and this only solidifies that the real person to keep an eye on all of this to get the nomination is Jacob Elordi. That is
Hmm.
signaling to the world usually that he is the actor transformation of the year. That
Hmm.
being said, I understand this feels really bad for Amy Madigan, but she is campaigning her ass off and already has the critics on her side. So, really sad that it couldn't get in here, but I still think she is gonna get in and a strong contender to get in and potentially maybe win. I'm not there fully yet, but she's definitely in the contention for the winner categories. I mean, she's won, I think, the most critical awards at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, she has.
But yeah, it was a big blow to that. But it getting the casting mention is a great mention because I thought
Hmm.
that was falling, and I honestly think it's some of the most inspiring casting of the year, and I hope it does get in and recognized.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But a bummer that it didn't get in here. But it is also like one character, and I don't know how much. I mean, but it also like it's hand Gladys. Like everybody was dressing like I don't understand it. Like it's like a
Yeah.
character of the year too. So
I do have some like a fear in me that weapons could be this year's challengers, where
oh, the cool movie that doesn't get
it's the
in.
cool movie that does really well with regional critics groups all year. You know, she might even win some prizes along the way. I still have her predicted. I have her in right now, but it's one of those where now if you take away like makeup and hairstyling not even being a possibility for
Mm.
nominations, that means I don't think the screenplay is strong enough to get in because original screenplay is so
Well, I mean,
crowded.
there's a spot open. I
There
mean,
is, but
Jake Kelly ain't gonna get it at this point, I don't think. So
it just it's feeling a little shakier than I anticipated. I think without that makeup and hair
mm,
mention. I'm just throwing it out there as
yeah.
something I could see happening, but
Yeah,
not
no,
something I want.
But she
absolutely. And it
also,
could have also gotten into sound here as well for a
yeah,
mention. It
it
could
could have
have
got
done
in.
much better, obviously, than it did.
It
I
could have got
also
into
do want to shout
cinematography.
out Kokuo for being
Yeah.
in here in this category. Not super shocking. It has kabuki makeup and is the centerpiece of the film.
Yeah.
And it
D-
also made the cut for international
I was
feature.
gonna say, does that signal anything as well too?
Absolutely.
That that's
If
that
you don't
that's a
think that
movie
this
that
is a potential top five contender here, I would maybe rethink that.
it's starting to get real
Think of
tight.
Topsy Turvy.
I think outside of I think outside of sentimental the Neon 3, the real big Neon 3 that we all think are
You make them
most like
sound like a terrorist organization.
I mean that's what it's the way to group them. Um the
Round
Neon
them
3.
up, Ryan.
We got to take them out.
Jeez.
No, sentimental value it was just an accident in The Secret Agent. I feel like those are pretty safe in. Then it's two spots and you're talking about Surratt, you're talking about what? Left-Handed Girl maybe, you're
Voice of
talking
Hinra Job.
maybe, you're talking about No Other Choice, which seems to be just falling by the wayside. You're talking about Surratt, Sound of Falling. There's vulnerability inside of here. And is there, Eric? Actually have a quick question for you. Is there a film that is both in the documentary category and international? Is there a crossover this year? Because
Well, no,
that's
the 2,000 meters to Angelica did not make international feature, which was a really big surprise.
and that's usually something to indicate as
And
well amongst the branches
Mr. Nobody Against Putin also did not make it. So we do not have any documentaries in the
in
international
international.
feature film
Just very
shortlist.
rare,
Well,
very
isn't
rare.
President's Cake a documentary?
No,
No, that's a
that's a
feature.
Oh,
film. It's a
That's
what
a
was
narrative.
I
feature.
thinking? What am I thinking of?
Yeah,
Something else.
that was a bit of a surprise because those
Well,
two were
Sophia, we've
definitely
avoided
those
that movie all
contenders.
season long, so it's
That's
not
true.
surprising
That's
that you
true.
don't know
I have
that that's
some,
the narrative.
it has evaded me somehow.
We have been at like 4 festivals with that movie, and we're just like, we'll cut a slice of that cake eventually.
No,
But
that is a narrative drama.
but documentary feature,
Not a
interesting.
whole lot of surprises, maybe just like one or two.
With like 2 + 2 = 5, or the Orwell thing.
That yeah, the Orwell missing, that was the big one.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
That's the one.
That's the
You know,
one
That's
that
the
yeah,
that
one.
was.
or it was, and
Um,
it ain't anymore.
yeah,
What's
and that
what's
had
winning this category? Like
so
what do
it's
we think?
cover up or apocalypse, I think, are the most likely because I will predict all the way until
Until
nomination morning that the perfect neighbor is getting snubbed here. It's not making it in.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think like My Undesirable Friends Part 1, the last air in Moscow. I think that's totally going to get in.
If
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
they watch the five
If
and a
they,
half hours of it, which they might not even watch all of it, it might be in. Yeah,
I think if you
Um,
just read a description, I think it might get in, honestly. Um,
absolutely. It
yeah.
uh,
is made for this category.
yeah,
I will say also the Tale of Cillian missed.
yeah.
That
Yes.
was that won two categories at the IDA
Yes, it
Yep.
did.
Documentary Awards
Yep.
and got nominated for PGA.
Yes.
So
That
that's
was
a
a
big miss.
that
Yeah.
is a honestly, yeah, you're right. That is a shocking miss for something like uh Holding Liat or actually Yanuni, which interestingly enough, we just did multiple interviews with, and that's on the site right now. So hey, there you go.
Can, can I ask a question, you guys? Do you think that, and Eric, I know you just said that The Perfect Neighbor is, you think is very vulnerable because it won the CCA award, and that's what you're basing it off of a little bit.
No,
No.
that's not the thing that I'm basing it off of.
What are you
That
basing it
just
off of?
I'm basing it off that it's all archival footage.
Okay.
And those
So
movies do not get nominated.
did Portress get in for All the Beauty and the Bloodshed?
No,
Would we be a little also kind of weary
no,
about cover
I
up
think
this go
this is
around?
an absolutely perfect film
It's perfect
for
subject matter. Yeah.
2025.
Yeah. No, I'm just worried about that as well too. But I'm
Yeah, I think the Alabama Solution has a very good
very
chance
high chance.
too.
Yeah.
Come See Me in the Good Light is actually really wonderful, and
That's a
also
great
made the
movie.
song uh, cut.
Yeah,
Great
those
film.
usually like to carry over a little bit as well,
Yeah.
you know.
I think Cover Up will be okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
At
I
the
do
risk
too.
of being wrong about this category again, I think Poitras got in for All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
Mm. Oh, okay. Did she?
I believe so. Let me do a
Okay.
quick check.
Okay.
My
I was just
brain,
making
I
I
don't know if it
can't
was
remember.
my
I
brain
was
So
was
like,
saying that it was like one of those
yes,
horrible snubs.
she was
okay.
nominated, but Navalny
Okay.
won that year.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
well, that yeah.
what was the other film, Eric, that you said that you think is very strong in here with cover up?
Apocalypse in the Tropics,
Okay.
and Alabama Solution. Yeah, Apocalypse, the Brazil and Bolsonaro of it all.
Yeah.
Again, just the
Hmm.
timing and topic is just so strong.
Yeah. No, for sure. I it's gonna be a fascinating category to see how it kind of,
Yes.
with these 15 films now. It's always also the category I have to play the most catch up with when it comes to, because then there's some ones that get in there and I'm like, I didn't even watch that movie. So
This is great. I've seen
yeah.
most of these docs, so
Well, cool. You get to
I'm
pat
in
yourself on the back.
good
You know.
shape there.
Very hard to predict without BAFTA.
Yes. Very hard to predict
It,
without BAFTA going
it's
into it.
so fun. I'm so glad the BAFTA's
Yeah,
coming after. I'm loving it.
it'll
But
be
we
fun.
will have the BAFTA long lists
Hmm.
first, so we
Yes.
can glean from that a
Yeah.
little bit.
When do those come out?
Think I think the 16th, January
Okay.
16th. I think.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but maybe.
I'm quoting you.
Oh well.
Um,
Um. All right. Well. Oh, one thing I noticed, and it seems to happen in this category a lot. Um, in the original song category, there's something called Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verde. What the fuck is that?
our future
Um,
disqualified
because
um
I'm getting alone yet not
nomination.
alone vibes that are just like an earthquake right now.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck is Viva Verde?
It sounds like a
Mm-mm,
good dish.
mm-mm.
Yeah. So
Thumbs up.
I always listen to all
Viva
of these
Verde.
after the shortlists come out, and this is the one from the list that surprised me. And I was like, I haven't heard that
No.
yet.
Hmm.
Because some
I,
other ones
I
here,
I went to
th-
the Instagram page of
uh-huh.
the the songwriter of this, and I'm like, something's up. I feel like something's
Hmm.
up,
Wow.
Well,
but
This
we'll see.
category is always a time.
It is.
it's Diane Warren. It's gonna get in.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
One
love the Billy
Sinners.
Idol song got in. That's super cool.
Yes. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Did the Miley Cyrus song get
It
nominated?
did. It did.
I told
Nine
you.
Inch Nails too.
Nine Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm.
See, but that's a cool nomination. That ain't gonna happen. I'm starting to think the highest to lowest song might actually be getting in, which would be insane because it's the worst song of the film. It really is. Like it should be.
Trunks should be
It should be
here.
Trunks. Could you
It
imagine
should be Trunks.
Imagine Martin Scorsese sitting in the seats and watching Trunks. You know what I mean? It would be, yeah, he'd be like bopping with Francesca. It'd be so awesome.
Exactly.
It would be like Lose Yourself all over again. Our Love from the Ballad of Wallace Island would be a great nomination. I do like that film.
That's very, very sweet. I like that.
Train Dreams from Train Dreams should be considered. I mean, Train Dreams had a really good day for itself, honestly.
Absolutely.
And so, but yeah, I think this is a battle between.
And then obviously both Sinners and Wicked for Good got 2 songs in, and it has to be pointed out that those 2 movies got exactly the same shortlist mentions. All 8 that they got were the exact same.
Exactly.
Maxed out.
Yeah.
In every eligible category.
In song, watch out for Salt, Then Sour, Then Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Bareilles and Brandy Carlisle. Sometimes
That's why
they like
it's in here.
documentary songs here
That's
too.
what I
is
said
why
last
it's in
year
here.
with the Elton John song of it all.
Mhm.
That's why I was like, we got to put this in here. And Eric looked at me and said, "You're crazy," and then it happened. So
Ryan,
you are
sound
so
crazy.
crazy. You know what wasn't here today?
Yeah, where's Christie's wigs?
Yeah, where's the wigs?
Where's Christie's wigs and
Christy.
gunshot makeup?
You
Come on now.
Honestly, though, the makeup on her leg when she's crawling out of the house,
Yeah,
It's gnarly.
some of the most gnarly, terrifying
that whole
stuff for a
sequence
movie
is
that has no
actually
business
incredible.
being.
It's amazing.
I will
But
say,
yeah,
Sophia and I
Merritt
looked at
Weaver's
each other.
wigs, if that had gotten in here, whoo boy,
When we were
somebody would be
watching-
getting a sternly written letter from me.
When we watched Christy, we were like, "Wait, how did his knife get down there to her legs and cut off?" Like, it doesn't make
None of it
logistically
made
any
sense.
sense.
But I have to
it's so
say,
funny.
on the recent, just a quick aside, on your recent Oscar retrospective episode, you asked, what 2025 movie would you like to see Paul Verhoeven direct? And as I was
Christy.
listening to that, I said to myself, Christy.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Could you
Wow.
imagine those boxing sequences? Everybody would be fully naked.
Not what I was thinking, but a crazy movie
Wow.
nonetheless.
That's not what I was thinking either, but
Man,
here we are.
Well, he wouldn't know how to properly also use Katie O'Brien as well, which the film doesn't know how to do.
It'd be great if
No.
someone did.
I mean, for real, she's a legend, and we stand her. No, I mean, this is the Golden Award. I wanted to ask you guys something real quick, and I know we're about to wrap up here.
Maybe.
Okay, which is that we've seen the shortlist. We know the films that have done really well here. We knew that Wicked would do well here. We knew Sinners and One Battle in some of these films here. Were there films here, because we're starting to get to like that 9 and 10 spot in picture is getting real tight. Were there films today? I mean, Eric, I know you threw out the ridiculousness of Surratt and the 10, but is there? I mean, we're throwing everything
I don't
out,
think it's
right?
ridiculous at all.
I think it is.
I think
until
it has to be considered.
you can consider it. I need to see the guilds support that theory.
You think Diane Warren's getting in over Hamnet in score, so I don't really need to like
her name's on the
listen to
ballot.
what you
Is
have
Max
to
Richter's?
say about that.
So they love that woman. They'd nominate her for everything under this. I would not be surprised. Anyway, was there a film that did well here today that's like in that fringe 9 to 12 to 15 category that you went, oh, okay, it might actually be the 9 or 10 spot to get in? I mean, because Wicked is technically that.
That's
that
the one for me.
Yeah, Surratt and
Begonia.
Wicked.
Begonia's
So-
one for me.
So
No.
Begonia is interesting
I
because
put it back into my 10.
it's
Which
my
one,
10
Begonia?
spot right now.
Yep.
Yeah, mine too. It's in my 10 because I think Emma could get in, and I think the screenplay, but where else?
It's not there in makeup.
No,
I think some people thought it might get in there.
that's
For
a big
casting.
miss in casting.
And that's
No
actually where I
casting.
thought it could have gotten in here, because it has,
Yes.
outside of obviously Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, it has those other 2 guys,
Some
which
of the worst
are
casting of the year, but yes,
sure,
correct.
Yeah.
but for some people, they really love it.
They love it.
But I
Yeah.
have to say, I do think Begonia is stronger in adapted screenplay than No Other Choice.
Yes.
Oh, it's much stronger.
no,
like-
I have it in there. You know,
No Other Choice
No.
is going to be lucky to get 1 nomination, and
I
I'm
mean-
sorry, but I think people need to
I know.
start to get there.
I mean, my adapted screenplay right now is One Battle, Hamnet, Train Dreams, Begonia, Frankenstein.
That's what I have too.
That's not a crazy thing to predict. I have
I want to
actually
put in Peter Hujar's Day.
Yay for that
I
that
just don't
USC scripter
I
nomination.
until I see it, I just don't know if we're gonna have sadly a lone screenplay nominee this year.
It's so sad. I just moved No Other Choice up into my 5,
Unless it's Jay Kelly.
and I don't think
An
that's
original. Or it's No
No,
Other Choice and adapted.
Sorry Babies making that lone screenplay cut.
Oh, I don't think that's
that
getting
is
I
in.
hope
happening.
so.
That's happening.
Please.
Oh, it's not. No, you want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's happening.
We'll see.
You watch. You'll see.
Okay, I will watch.
Yeah.
I'll watch it not happen.
All right. So before we close, are there any other things that you guys want to highlight from any of the categories? Because I mean, there's definitely, we didn't obviously talk about the shorts. I think those are going to take time to to watch.
Yeah, good luck predicting those in a couple of weeks.
Hey, I'm glad that Sam Davis got in for the singers here.
Yes.
He is great. But yeah, what if that we haven't talked about yet has stood out for you this morning, this afternoon?
Cinematography
We've talked about a lot for sure.
Cinematography did as good as it could here.
Yeah.
I mean, getting into the cinematography one, that's great.
I mean, we kind of think,
such a cool mention here.
It's very good cinematography.
That's on my list for sleeper editing nomination too.
Same. Yeah. Like I think it's starting to.
I wish there was an editing shortlist.
I wish there was shortlist for every category. I'm just gonna say it.
I just
except
do what
picture.
Does.
Except picture. I don't want picture to be spoiled. I want that to be kind of a surprise. But every other category, I'd be open to it, and I would be open to like 15 to 20, like kind of cinematography, running scale from the group. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's really good. I think that I wish though if there was one, I mean, it's just an accident, just at the one. So it won't be like in a cinematography field. I really kind of wish it was in the casting, because I feel like the cast is not being considered enough for that movie, and also because he has to do all that in secret and they have to cast all that in secret. It's like that is like how do you cast a movie that you're doing in secret? That's such a difficult process.
It's a strange thing because both that and No Other Choice do not have casting directors listed, and they don't even have directors listed as the casting, like Sean Baker. So I don't think either of them really had a chance here.
Which really stinks, because I think the casting work in that film, I mean, some of those performances are some of the great, they're not like top 10 performances, but they're definitely some of the best of the year. And no, I just think that this kind of, it really, I think that right now you have to decide, are you thinking more of Sinners as the leader, or are you thinking more in Battle? And also, you have to think about, if you think that all these movies are maxing out, which they will not do, what's going to be the miss for one battle after another, and what's going to be the miss for Sinners? And I mean, Sinners, you could easily say that's going to be like Michael B. Jordan and maybe a tech or two. I mean, for one battle, it's probably just, Regina Hall and maybe one of these techs. But these two movies are really starting to neck and neck. Maybe the Globes change that because they'll be in separate categories that night, and one battle will do really well on its own. And then is that where Hamnet strikes? Or is that where Sinners makes its claim? And do we have a 1-2 in the race? We'll see. But I mean, the misses there was one miss for Hamnet today, right? There wasn't, like, it didn't make the sound, right? Or no, the makeup
sound was
makeup and sound. Which is, I
wouldn't have really. I have to look at my November predictions to see if I had it, because I don't think I had it in the 10.
Does that make it a little bit worried for editing? A little bit?
I'm worried for it in editing because it's missed so many
it's missing editing
that have. Yeah. So people are going to F1 and other heavily edited films.
And if it starts missing those categories,
this is where Surratt could be.
Yeah. Is it
I,
vulnerable
I
in
bet
other?
you $1 million if there was an editing shortlist that Surratt would be on that too.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, does that also mean that it's vulnerable above the line is the question? And does that
Are you trying to poke the bear today? Because that's what it feels like. Like you're
is there
trying to
a?
make me you're trying to make me like get mad or like say
I'm just
something
I'm just saying the
or like
movie's
call
missed
you
a
a
couple of spots.
slur
It's had
or
a rough go.
something.
No, I'm not.
You're
Sophia, am
yeah.
I crazy to start thinking like this a little bit for that movie?
No, I mean, I think though that like when you asked like where could Sinners miss, where could One Battle miss, I think the interesting thing for Sinners is that I think the misses could come above the line, not
Mm-hmm.
here,
Yeah.
which is another interesting conversation because that film I'm waiting to see, I think how like I think SAG will embrace it, but like which actors are getting in at the Oscars, I'm really curious how that will happen. And Hamnet, yeah, I mean, I think that I have a lot of questions around that because it feels like Jesse is just kind of running away with the conversation around the movie. And I think we expected that. I
Mm-hmm.
think that that was something we just said really from Telluride, that she was a really strong Best Actress contender, but Paul Mescal's missing in places. I wonder how strong Chloe is also in director when it comes
Yeah.
down to
Let's
it.
have
So
that conversation.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I need to see more. But again, like we just haven't really seen the industry weigh in a
Yeah.
real way yet.
Mhm.
But with the major critics groups, I mean, they're just not going for Hamnet.
No.
Okay, it's been a great show, everybody. Thank you so much. There's
I'm
nothing
not.
more to talk about.
No, but I mean, don't you think that? I mean, like Eric, it is interesting
Yes,
because when we
yes, it
started the
is. It's
season,
percolating. Yes, of
when
course
we
it's
started the season,
percolating.
we thought that Sinners would be in that kind of position a little bit, and that Hamnet would be strong. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean though, because BAFTA, we won't know BAFTA, but we could be surprised on Oscar morning, and that the international vote and BAFTA vote they really go strong for Hamnet. We see it win the Globe, like things
Hmm.
change. Like we're just
Things
talking
change
about
all the
right
time.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
change
mean,
all the time.
I don't think Sinners is going to do really poorly at BAFTA.
Oh, I think so. I think it is.
I don't think so. I think it's going to do
Sophia,
okay. It did great
split
with
the
the
We'll
vote.
London
see.
critics. Um,
But
Wumi
London critics aren't
Masako is British.
BAFTA.
Cool.
She should be able to
They
get in.
nominated Denzel Washington for what film? Cool.
Yeah, but
So
nobody likes that
did
guy.
they
So
nominate Coogler for Black Panther?
no,
Did they nominate Michael B. Jordan for Black Panther?
no, he didn't get anywhere else though. So
Michael B. Jordan also missed with the London critics, which I thought was
yeah,
odd.
That's interesting.
that was the crazy miss
So like
because
London
I
critics
mean,
are
it did well.
Paul missing British Irish actor was also nuts.
I'm
Now we've
telling
there's
you,
gone
only
way too
and
far
well,
off.
there's only like five of them now, in
I
Hollywood.
put this in chat, and this was those London critics after the London Film Festival that are so precious about Shakespeare that
Yeah.
they just did this like rebuke of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And sure,
You know what movie's going to do well with the
you
BAFTA?
guys have terrible food and ugly teeth, so
One
whatever, who
Battle After
cares?
Another. That's what's going to do really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, since this is not the one battle after another
And sentimental value,
podcast,
honestly, to be fair. I
Yeah.
think that's going to do
sure,
really well with BAFTA because they love the
yes, it
worst
will.
person in the world. So
And half of it's in English.
there you
So
go.
yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Well,
This
since
went
you
off the
took this,
rails.
yeah, since you took this train dream right off the rails, Ryan, is there anything else like on topic that
On
you
topic.
want to mention?
No, I think I'm good. I think I said what I needed to
Okay,
say.
good, perfect. Then let's wrap up. And Ryan, where can people find you?
You can find me in a bunker hiding from Eric.
Goddamn
Or
right.
after this podcast, or on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Ryan McQuade 77. Yeah, if you like podcasts, we're wrapping up Claire Denis this week. Yeah, just listen to stuff and read all the stuff on the website. I have a review of season 2 of Fallout. It's great. Good show. A lot of fun stuff going on right now. And if we don't do this before the end of the year again, happy holidays, everybody.
Sophia, what about you?
You can find me at the Rendezvous Point, Twitter at Sophia_Sim, Letterboxd at Sophia Sim. You can find my work, reviews, interviews with a few people shortlisted today
Hmm.
at AwardsWatch, and some fun podcast episodes coming your way. Excited for a director watch episode coming soon that I'll just
Yes.
tease. Won't say what it is, but it'll be fun. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season and happy holidays, everyone.
I don't know any more of this code speak.
And you can find me at the Globe, wondering why this man is saying my son's name. And also at awardswatch.com. But yes, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy, is it Boxing Day? That's the
Yeah.
26th, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get them all? Is there more? I feel like there's more.
If
Well,
if
I
we
think
didn't
we've said
mention
enough
yours,
today.
I think if we
sorry.
didn't mention yours, we're sorry, but we love you and
Ab-
have a happy new year and you're stuck with us in
Absolutely.
2026.
All of that. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Goodbye.